Hello everyone, I hope this video finds you well, and today I'm going to be introducing oil pastels. So I have two sets of oil pastels here, the Mungyo Gallery Soft Pastel and the Kuelox Soft Oil Pastels. Okay, so let's start with this set first because they're right in front of me. They're a set of 48 colors. They're both considered budget soft pastels, although they don't react like one, because they're pretty soft and pretty pigmented. And this set is made in China. It's a Chinese brand. Okay, they say it's professional grade. I don't know if it is, but it feels like it could be. However, the Lightfastness is still out in the open. How lightfast this set is still really anyone's guess because there isn't any Lightfast tests. And it's really new because I have not used this set yet since I got it. And it comes with this swatch card. And the set I bought is the Morendi color palette. So if you don't know what the Morendi color palette is, it's just like all the colors has like a muted tone to it. It's like it has like this gray tone to it. Okay, so these are the set of the oil pastels. Okay, the Kuelox Oil Pastels. Sticks are pretty big. The white and black is pretty big stick. And then the other set is the Mungyo Gallery. It does come with a sleeve, so it won't come off. So this sleeve just slides inside. Okay, so it's pretty secure if you ever travel with this set, but not in the case for this set. This is it. This is it. Okay, so you might have to use a rubber band to go around this set if you ever want to travel with it. But it's pretty big, you know, for 48 colors. Both sets are 48 colors. Okay, so this is a set of 48 colors as well, and it looks like this. Okay, now let me compare some of the size of the sticks, because after all, this is a comparison video. So we'll just pick. Okay, the Kuelox one are square, and let me get one that show up better on camera. Okay, the Kuelox one are square, and the Mungyo ones are round, and the length of the stick seems the same, but the Kuelox ones appear to be slightly larger because they're square. If you can see this, camera's not going in focus, but yeah, it's slightly bigger because of the diameter, and because Kuelox is a square and not round. Okay, so I have only slightly ever used the Gallery Oil Pastel to test them out a little bit, but not the Kuelox one. Okay, so what I'm gonna test out today is, okay, I'm gonna do the Mungyo Gallery one first. So you're getting to see the results as I am doing as well. So I have here a sheet of 200 GSM drawing paper, and a second while I fix this. Okay, so I'm going to put the gallery on the left side, and the Kuelox on the right side. So you will see, I will try them out. So first, I want to do the blending test. Okay, well, no, not this one. Blending test. So I'm gonna go red. So I've had this set for a while, and it would appear that it's a bit dry. Okay. But you can see that they're quite pigmented, very well pigmented in fact. And they blend very well. So the next one I'm going to do a test of is the laying down. So I'm going to do one very hard layer. Okay, and then a very soft one. Just to compare later on. Okay, so these are not water soluble. So I'm going to do the red and blue color mixing test now. So yes, they do a pretty good job actually mixing. They do mix pretty well. Right? So now, how opaque is this? I'm just going to run white streaks across here. So it's not very opaque, you can still see right through it, unless you press pretty hard a few times. So what about scumbling? I'm going to bring 3 colors out. Yeah, that's pretty nice. I'll bring it up closer so you can see what it did. Okay. So when you can even smudge it. So, and it's obviously very smudgeable. Alright, and it's very creamy, I would say. I wouldn't say it's like painting with butter or coloring with butter, because I have art supplies that actually do feels like you are painting with butter. Okay, but not these. They're close, they're pretty close, but not quite there. Alright, so next we are going to do a little bit of layering test. I'm gonna wipe this off a bit because there's blue involved. And see how many layers this can go on. Second layer. Third layer. Fourth layer. Yeah, that's about it. I would say about 4 or 5 layers depending on how hard you push. And this isn't even pastel paper, okay? This is ordinary 200 GSM drawing paper. Alright. Now for the Kuelox. Now we're doing the Kuelox. I can't find the same color, but I can get somewhere close. Because remember, the set of Kuelox I have is the Morendi color palette, and they're quite a bit more muted. So this is the red that's as close as I'm gonna get. So I'm gonna do the blending test as usual. You get yellow, orange. So right off the bat, I'm already noticing that this is quite a bit stickier and softer. Like I can feel it. Is that if I squeeze a little bit harder, I can feel like as if the whole stick is going to crumble under my finger pressure. Alright, so here we go. And yeah, it blends very well. The pigment load is about the same, I would say. It's a different color palette with this, so can't really compare. Like, okay, this one is a bit duller and all that because it's a different color palette. And it was done on purpose because I thought I would like to have a set of muted color palette for my own painting, drawing, coloring purposes. Alright? So just now we did this to have a feel of how consistent it is. So, and I already know from just now that this set art application is fine, but you can see that it's not very consistent application, as when you compare it to the gallery, you can tell the difference. Okay, no. Yeah, still not very consistent. And with the softer application, it's still the same. You can compare this and this, and it's not very consistent, but it's definitely feels a bit more softer and creamier than the Mungyo Galleries for sure. Oh, and then now we have the coloring, the color mixing test. Okay, and you can tell that they do mix pretty well, the colors. Now I'm going to test the opacity of the white. It's not very opaque. I can tell from the very get-go it's not very opaque. Unfortunate. Unless I got to make, you know, like this, which they can. Alright, so next I'm going to do the scumbling test again. I need 3 colors. Not gonna be able to get the same colors, but they go down a little bit creamier and more buttery, I can tell. Now I'm going to do the smudge like I did just now. They're pretty similar in that aspect, but this isn't as dry. It's a little bit creamier. Okay, I'm doing the layering test now. It's about the same. I would say it's about four layers, so not a very big significant difference. In the layering aspect, I think Mungyo Galleries win out. But there's one additional aspect to the Kuelox set of colors. In fact, all of them, from what little research I've done on the internet, it looks like you can actually use these Kuelox oil pastel, light in pastel or oil paints, and actually make 3D art by scraping it off or chopping up the pastels and using a palette knife to apply it as art. I will show you a short video clip of that. So, as much as I can tell, each have their own strengths. I mean, in terms of opaqueness, it depends on how much you want, how hard you apply. It can be opaque, like the white specks here, okay? But otherwise, if you apply it softly, the colors underneath will just show through. So they're not, and this is because they are not a very soft oil pastel. That's why you cannot do that. So in order to do that, you probably need like a set of Sennelier or some other expensive ones like the Neo Pastel from Carandash, from what I've seen so far. And I don't have either of the sets to show you here, but from my own personal research on the internet, that's what people have said. So these sets, I would say they're more like a semi-hard pastel. So they're creamy, soft, buttery, but not really painting like butter. Okay, they blend very well. Although the soft application for the Kuelox isn't as consistent as the Mungyo Galleries, as you can see here. They both blend very well. They both mix very well, the colors. Okay, and scumbling wise, and they do pretty well. Layering wise, they are almost equivalent, with the slight edge given to the Mungyo Galleries. So I would say they are overall pretty good pastels, pretty decent. And for the price, I can't remember off the top of my head how much I paid for either sets, but they're definitely about $1 plus Singapore dollars per stick. So this set is probably about between $50 to $60 if I remember correctly. And same with the Mungyo Galleries, but they're bought at different times. These were pre-COVID prices, okay? Even though they're bought at different times, they were pre-COVID prices. So post-COVID, you may have to add on a bit of inflation. So the next what I can do is I'm going to do a demo of coloring with both of these two sets, and then you will be able to tell how good they are with coloring. Alright? As I start things off coloring the drawing, I want to make it clear that this is not a how to color tutorial video. It's a performance comparison between two different sets of oil pastels. I will be using two different Neuro Lotus drawings to have a good feel of the performance of these two oil pastels. For this Neuro Lotus, I thought maybe the Kuelox pastels, being square, will give me a little more control over some of the details you see in the drawing. I'm also using color shapers to help me with the details here. Color shapers are the brush-like things you see me use here with silicone tips to help with blending. As I gain more experience with these oil pastels, they are starting to feel more like coloring with butter. It can be a good thing, and it can be a bad thing, depending on what you want to do with it. Layering with these pastels are a breeze. They layer very easily, but the colors do not go down opaque. The colors going down has a translucent quality to it, as mentioned a bit earlier. And because they are very soft as well, they blend very easily and readily, like spreading soft butter. I love the texture effect the color shapers are giving me on this piece of artwork. Yes, the texture effect was intentional. As I start to color in the background, I'm noticing the lumps of colors are coming off the pastel sticks and sticking to the paper. I can't really flick it off the paper because they are so soft and sticky. This can work in your favor or against you, depending on what you want to do with your artwork. Perhaps this is the side effect of these oil pastels being soft enough for you to use as a palette knife for an impasto effect. Next, we have the Mungyo Galleries Oil Pastel. These oil pastels appear to lay down color much drier. They do not have the soft buttery consistency like the Kuelox do, but they still layer and blend very well. The colors, as mentioned before, appear to be more opaque, but still manages to have some translucency if you lay down the color lightly. I feel like these pastels will give you a little more control over how your colors go down, but it is still not a lot of control either. They are still, after all, oil pastels. Fine details are not a part of any oil pastel's strongest quality. While completing this artwork, I discovered that my fingers blend way better than the color shapers that I've been using. You will see me blending with my fingers more with this art piece. When I'm coloring in the background, I do notice crumbs coming off the stick. I think it's normal, but these crumbs do not stick to the paper like the Kuelox ones do. I could just flick them off easily, or just tilt the paper vertically and they come off with a firm smack on the desk. If that fails, I can just use a palette knife to flick them off. After having used both sets of oil pastel, I would say that they each have their own strengths. Now, I cannot compare the pigmentation for both sets of oil pastel because they each use different color palettes. The Mungyo Gallery one uses the normal color palette, while the Kuelox one uses the Morandy color palette. The Morandy color palette uses colors that are desaturated, like they have a slight gray tone to all the colors. Having said that, I will still prefer using the Mungyo Galleries pastels better, but I will not exclude the fact that I might use both sets in conjunction to complement each other's strengths. Both sets fall within the budget price range and hence relatively affordable. But let me say that the Mungyo Gallery set appears to have a larger color range. They have a set of 72 colors available. So I have here the Lightfast test results, my personal Lightfast test results for both the Mungyo Galleries Oil Pastel and the Kuelox Oil Pastel. Now, before I carry on, I want to say that these two swatches were done and hung on my south-facing window in a plastic bag, transparent plastic bag, and exposed to a south-facing window, which gets indirect sunlight the entire day. Alright? So remember, I'm in a tropical area, so still indirect sunlight by no means is museum condition. It's like indirect sunlight. It doesn't get direct sunlight, but it gets the sunlight reflected off and shaded sunlight. Alright? So, and I also wanted to say that by no means was this Lightfast test tested under scientific condition. It was just a personal night-day Lightfast test. Okay? So, and here we go. So we're starting off with the Mungyo Galleries Oil Pastel. So this is the swatch that was hung on my window for 90 days. And here is the one that was kept in the closet that's not exposed to light. So I want to pan slowly through and you will be able to see both. Alright? Now, as you can see, they appear to be doing very, very well. Like, so far, I don't see any fading in any of the colors. Even the magenta and the purples, which is very, very surprising. Okay, even down to the light purples, the pinks even. So this is like surprise to me, which also tells me that, you know, this set of colors, it's pretty worth it for the price that you pay. So now for the inside one, give me a sec. This one, nope. They're all pinks and greens here, and it doesn't appear to have any changes. Neither do this set of colors here. So they're good. They passed my personal Lightfast test for the Mungyo Galleries. So they're pretty good deal, I guess. And then next, this is for the Kuelox Oil Pastel. Okay, so we're gonna go through strip by strip. It doesn't look like there's any other changes. Okay, see the first fugitive color here. This pink is noticeably much cooler than this one over here. Okay, so they're pinks. So is this one. This one is noticeably lighter than this one as well. And this one is tad lighter. Can't really tell unless you have the color put right next to each other. So you can tell that there's a difference. And not this color, but only this two. Okay, the red seems to be doing fine. Now we have this. Okay, this seems to be fine. Purples again, surprisingly, but this color these two colors got a little bit lighter. Okay, so this is the one that's exposed to the sun. Okay, so these two colors got noticeably lighter. Like you can tell it faded. More so this than that one. But still, when you put the two colors together, you know that it looks faded. Okay, so as we move on, I'm seeing this blue as well. This light blue is got a little bit lighter, just by a hint. If you don't put this other side together, you can't really tell that this got noticeably lighter. So this is slightly fugitive. No, they're the same. So those are the few fugitive colors. Then we got this one here, which looks okay. This one. Looks okay too. So there isn't much changes. I think this is just more like the coloring wasn't very even, so not the case. Because if you compare these two areas here, the one nearest the line, they don't look like there's any change at all. So the Kuelox Oil Pastels do have a few fugitive colors, namely this blue, this magenta, this purple. Okay, everything else looks, and then this darker purple, not a whole lot, not as significant as this one, you can tell. This like barely, you can tell the difference. Everything else looks good, and the pinks as well. Usually the pinks and the purples are the least Lightfast colors. And with that, I am going to end the video here. So I will talk to you again in the next video. Bye!